Buenas tardes, good afternoon, amigos, familia, friends, and family. It is spring 2024, and this is the garden state of affairs of my New Jersey backyard garden or wannabe garden, zone 7A. There's so much work to be done. And for this video blog, I am going to provide you with some visuals on all the stuff that needs to be done. Most exciting is that I'm getting a greenhouse put in. I purchased a greenhouse from Costco, the very popular Yardistry greenhouse. I got it about a year ago and couldn't put it together myself. So finally I found someone who is going to help me put that together, and I'm really excited. So that should happen this coming weekend. So this video is showing the backyard before my little greenhouse. So here we go. Okay, so here we go. We're starting with the backyard. There's lots of cleanup to do, even though I've tried the last couple of weeks to keep up with some of it. But as you all know, there's always more to do. This has seen better days. I need to take out all these little branches that are just stuck in here. I had some flowers in there too, just temporarily decorating a little box. Okay, so there's lots of weeding that hasn't been done. I have done some. Let's just start at this end. Here we go. This is a little north-facing bed. And of course, because it's a shade bed, we have our beautiful hellebores, saxifrage. Yeah. That's a Nandina. Does really well in the shade here. I find it does better in the shade than in the sun. That's the Obsession Nandina from Southern Living. The heucheras do really well. Also, a shade or part shade. In the sun, they get a little crispy. That's the lungwort back there. We have these very old hyacinths. These hyacinths just come back every year. They don't look as good as the first year, but you know, they still give the garden a little color. That's an old-fashioned azalea. Let's see what we have here. We have my tiny Harvest Moon Japanese maple that I replanted in this section because it gets lots of shade and it was suffering in the sun. These are some cuttings from the heuchera that I'm trying to grow into plants and possibly line this bed with them. It's a Korean spice viburnum, starting to blossom. I love this plant so much. Look how pretty. And it smells so good when it's in bloom. I purchased this and magnolia, but it got a little cold and the bloom suffered a little bit. I got this at Lowe's for a really good price and I couldn't pass it up, so I purchased it. Still don't know where I'm going to put it. I think I'm going to have to move my white flowering dogwood again. There goes all the weeds. Lots of weeds, but they're pretty and they fill up the garden. Yeah, they're a lot of work, but they're not that difficult to get out. And so when there's nothing else here, there's these pretty weeds. Tulips are starting to come up. I sprayed some deer and rabbit repellent, so it's helped a little bit. I bought these little gates from the dollar store. Now I didn't have enough, so I just cut off some of the juniper and laid it on that side, and it's actually kept the rabbits away. They haven't chomped on these yet. They were starting to when they were little. I don't know what these are. One of the exciting things, I'm actually going to start vegetable gardening this year, and I went crazy and built this thing last year. Didn't have time to plant, so I left it empty. I filled it with some junk, and then I ordered about 2 yards of mushroom compost and put it in there, but I think I needed 3. And then I covered it with straw. This is stuff I just read online or watched on YouTube channels. telling me what to do. And I didn't want to leave it uncovered, and I wasn't really ready to plant. These are some old bulbs I found in the ground, and I just potted them up and to see what happens. And they look like they're going to be some pretty tulips in here. Okay, this is the coral bark maple without its leaves, but it's starting to bud out as well. And these tulips I sprayed. I didn't cover them, but some of them have survived. This is the third year for these tulips. They're a color blend mix bulbs. I pulled out a bunch, and these I sort of forgot about or didn't find them, and so they came back. And if you hear dogs barking, there's lots of dogs in this neighborhood. These are the alliums. I think this is the GM, and I think this is the, oh, that's Mishka. Hi, Mishka. That's a husky that lives next door. She likes to come visit when I'm in the yard. If you can see her through the, hi, Mishka. Little nose. This is the Roseanne geranium. This spot here, everything I plant here dies. I've spent so much money just planting stuff. I guess it's the soil. I haven't checked it yet. I had my little boxwood village, like Linda Vada calls them. And over in the end here, I didn't know what to plant here behind this tree. It seems to be doing excellently. It survived the winter. It's liking its life. So, okay. This is the storm cloud. This is a proven winters is starting to come up. It's a perennial. It's really a beautiful plant. So that's the old woody stems here and the new growth. And again, some more weeds. I think those are those little white bell things. This is another Nandina, which is doing well, but it's not doing as well as the one in the shade. So I've noticed that in the shade, it grows a little bushier, feels a little happier, but it doesn't have that bright red. So I would say this in zone 7A, the Nandinas probably want part shade, because in this is nothing. When it's really hot outside, it gets really crispy, even if I water it. These old daffodils have been with this house for a long time. I don't know. I've owned this house for 20 years, and they've been here since before then. And I just move these bulbs around, and they continue to perform every year, and they're just beautiful. Okay. I forgot what I planted here. Oh, these have to be those small daffodils. Those are the cute little daffodils. The second, they're like mid-spring daffodils. And these are the irises. These are the bearded irises. These are a little taller than these. See the daffs. And, you know, other weeds. I think this is that nettle. But it looks so pretty. Like, I don't feel like pulling this out. This looks so gorgeous. And it's a weed. Okay. I guess these guys got mixed in there when I moved the bulbs. And so I have a few of these hyacinths. I planted a clematis on this fence to see if it makes it look a little better. Let's see how it performs there. I'm not really sure. These hydrangeas are sort of in the shade. These are old-fashioned hydrangeas, the macrophylla, and they've been here 3 years. They have little buds, but they don't really do anything for me. They have never flowered. So I think I'm going to move them into a shadier spot. I think the roots are competing with these trees. These are little saplings that just grew in this fence. We keep on cutting them back. They've become sort of bonsai'd because between my neighbor and I, we just keep on cutting these back. I have to cut this out a little bit more. There's actually an oak tree. This is from an acorn. I had 2 big oak trees, red oaks, in my property, and I think this is one of its babies. And it grew right into the fence. I had I think the stuff growing in here, that's my neighbor's. Those are daylilies, I think. And they're just coming into, they just crawled over. Same thing with the columbine. It's all columbine. That's just coming up. It's wild here. I've never planted columbine. I don't know what happened, how it got here. It got here. And it's doing its thing. But I think I'm going to move these hydrangeas. This is my old lilac. It's so old. It really needs to be taken down. Let's see if I can show you this. There we go. How pretty. So it's suckered. I've tried trimming it back. I think it just needs to be taken down. It's really old. I cut off a lot of its old branches. Some are still there, as you can see. And so all the growth is either on top or right at the bottom. Those are also daylilies coming up. Some random, I think those are random tulips. This whole area has hostas. They're sleeping right now. And this lungwort escaped. Let's see, that sort of escaped and is planted itself there. And I'm just leaving it there. So you see, these are all the sticks from the other hydrangeas. I mean, the hostas. Another random hyacinth weeds. So this side is all shade, and I'm planning on starting to fill this up. I had thought about putting camellias here, but they're really slow growing. This fence here keeps on coming down. The neighbor has two big dogs and they like to plow through and knock it over. And so we're trying to keep it from not coming down. These are Steed's hollies that I had in a pot and they died. They were in too much sun. They were in too much sun and they died. So they started to sucker. And so I cut it all back and I just took out the suckers and I planted them here. This gets shade and it has this these fences so it protects it from the wind. So I'm hoping that these Steed's hollies will do well in this section. I don't know. We'll see. It's all experimental. Just pots of soil, random soil. Okay. So I do want to work, you know, on this lawn. Maybe not. I don't know. It's such a waste to work on lawn, but I'm probably going to put some stepping stones coming from here all the way around here because this is where my greenhouse is going to go. So this is the greenhouse. It's been sitting in these boxes. I'm just hoping that when we open these up, the wood is still good. I don't know what I would do, what I'm going to do if it isn't. And then this is an old bench. I'm going to use it somehow. I'm going to throw away that potting bench here, this potting table. My little rabbit, also near. So I'm probably going to put this out to the garbage. It has, I think it has termites. So this is the area where I want to put the greenhouse. I think it's like, the measurements are on there, but I want to, this is south face, this is the south. So, you know, and it has some shade from the house, but I think this is a perfect spot for the greenhouse because it has the patio pavers, so I don't have to worry about a floor. I'm probably going to put like a plastic rug down to protect the pavers a bit. And then I'll have my tiny little greenhouse. It's more than enough space. Let me see. Yeah, it's 6.7 feet by 7.8. So roughly 7 by 8 feet. Definitely enough space here. This is my mess. Some of the stuff is going in the greenhouse, like the potting soil. I don't think I'm going to fit this little, I got this shelving unit from Amazon and I put it together this weekend. I have so many other pots, but I was able to declutter a bunch of pots. I put them outside. I put a sign on them that said free, mostly nursery pots, but some plastic pots that I just didn't care for. And someone took them. My bag of hay, seed starting stuff, more nursery pots that I'm keeping because they're really big. And so yeah, so some of this stuff is going in the greenhouse. Some of it is just probably, I I also got this idea from Linda Votter, just having a shelf with all the pots, just displaying them. This is covered here, so shouldn't get that, wet. So here we have some heuchera that I just kept from last year, and they're starting to grow out. That's an empty pot. Probably going to put some begonias in there when it gets a little warmer. Clean up this area. This is an old table I'm going to fix up. Do something with that table. That's garbage as usual. I have all this stuff that needs to go out. Randomness. So yeah, so there's weeding to be done. I got to put more soil in the garden beds, and I'm building the greenhouse, and I'm trying to stay within budget and not buy a lot of new stuff and try to propagate what I have. I have to pot these boxwoods in here. I got these. Where did I get these boxes? I think I got them from Costco. They had them for like, I don't know what it was, $15 each. They're starting to blossom, but these are going to go in these pots. A friend gifted these to me, and I'm probably going to put some flowers. There's some annuals. These are the nandinas, but these are the flirt nandinas. They were so tiny, and now they took on this beautiful color. Again, they like the shade. So these bushed out earlier just because the way the sun comes, it's going to hit these first. So you see how tiny they are, and this one really hasn't blossomed as much. Probably doesn't have enough space. More tulips. Some of these are all old tulips that I never pulled out. So they're just coming up all over the place. These are the junipers. I love these guys. They grow so much. I have to cut them back constantly. These are the double petaled tulips from Color Blends called Soul Array. These are beautiful. They're really bright. So in my backyard, I have the color scheme out here is like red and chartreuse and green, just like really vibrant colors, like what you would think about in the summer. So that's the idea I have of these really warm, vibrant colors. But there's little nods to, an Asian garden with the junipers and the Japanese maples, and the nandinas sort of have that look, like that delicate Asian look. This tree I got talking about just roots, like a couple of roots in my hand. We planted in a pot, and this is a native. So this is a white flowering dogwood. I got them free from New Jersey. Had a promo. You went down and they gave you a couple of native roots of trees because they want to promote native plants. And so they gave you 3. They gave me the white flowering dogwood, a persimmon, and a white pine. And the white pine died right away. The persimmon lived, but I don't know what happened, and eventually it died off. The only one survived is this guy, but I'm thinking this is not enough space for it, because underneath here there's a lot of rocks. When we redid the pavers, they just put all the rocks underneath and piled soil on top. So I don't think there's a good space for it. I think I'm going to put the Ann Magnolia here. I'm not 100% sure, but I think the Ann Magnolia is smaller, and when it grows up, it's going to have the nice, color. I think it'll look really pretty here. And I think I'm going to move this guy over to where the lilac is because I think I'm going to take down this lilac. I feel sad. Maybe I could just like take pieces of it and pot it up and just move it someplace else. But I need a space for that. I really want that white flowering dogwood someplace in the future in the ground where it can grow and mature and be happy. And so I think this is a spot right underneath this humongous pine. Because from what I understand, it is one of those are dogs. Oh Lord. They are there. They're ready to knock down that panel. They're 2 huge dogs. They're gentle dogs. They're just gentle giants. So yeah. So I want the white flowering dogwood, and I believe they're understory trees. And so by the pine here, I think it would do well. It'll get enough sun. I'm just worried about root competition. Anyway, so yeah, so that's the little backyard deal here. Lots of like little messes and stuff that I would like to tidy up and make pretty. It's okay. Let's see what we have in the front really quickly. I'm not going to do too much detail in the front. It's just part of the video blog to document little tasks, before and after type of stuff. I think I've covered a lot of this. This bed needs cleanup. But we have the winter creeper euonymus, and they are invasive, but they haven't really moved from this spot. I have 4 of them here. I think they added winter interest, and I like the variegated leaf. I think it looks cute. These I think I just threw. I got some random bulbs and I just threw them in here. I think they're just little daffodils. This is a penstemon. These are dwarf roses, coral drift. That's what they are. I chopped them down a bit, but they might still need a little bit more trim. And behind there, let me make sure I don't get eaten by the thorns, that is a clematis that's coming up. So this is its, I think it's 2nd year. I have 2 of them. They're the Jackmani, the purple ones. This plant needs to be planted. This is it. Phlox. I don't even know if it's probably still good. So that goes there, little robin. Hey, little robin. Little robin's checking me out. There's another driftwood. I mean, driftwood, drift rose. So I did I made some changes. I took out the hostel, but there's still, the big mama is over on the other side, but this just did not come out, and so it's coming out. This is an old hydrangea. See all the hostas coming out there? I don't know if you can see. Let's see. There they go. And I stuck, this is a limelight hydrangea that I moved over here. A peony will come out here. So this needs to be cleaned up. On this side, definitely need to do some weeding. I'm going to pull up these bulbs. I really like the variegated leaf of these. I'm going to keep these, but I'm going to pull these out. They're just hanging in there. And that's another hydrangea. It's the Mauvette. No, it's not the Mauvette. It's the Ruby something or the other. It's like a little dwarf hydrangea, which I might have to find another spot for it. And the lamb's ear, the stockies, which I need to move out of here because there's too much shade. I mean, they're doing okay. I just need to trim these suckers. They look terrible. This is just a rose that I purchased. It has beautiful purple flowers. I trimmed this back as well in the fall. I gotta cut back these leaves. These grasses, they look beautiful in the summer, but they need to be cut back. I planted some alliums to see how they would do. I just got a bag of alliums. There's some Veronica weeds again. I have to define this bed, add mulch, clean it up. Lots of cleanup. And I planted this little guy here next to the street all by itself just to see how it would do. So far, so good. That's a little dry, but it looks like it's living. I might have to move it. See how it does. It's a cherry dazzle. It's what do you call those again? I forgot the name of these suckers. A crepe myrtle, but it's a dwarf crepe myrtle. So I'm trying to do something with these strips, like outside. I'm still planning on working on this. I'm probably going to do wildflowers and some perennials that love dry conditions. This is south facing. It's disgusting right now, but this is always disgusting. This is the Artemisia coming out. This Artemisia. This is a silver mound. I just got to clean this sucker up. I'll trim it later when I get. Little evergreens are doing fine. Not a weed. Holy cow. Look at this sucker. Holy moly. Okay. Pick that up a bit later. So yeah, I want to put, I have all these extra. You see how garbage just collects here? It's just disgusting. But I think that once I get all these stones into place here and let the grass go in between and just plant flowers in between, um, I can plant, like native flowers. And look at this. I planted these a few years ago and they never came up for me. Now they're coming up. I try to fill these up with little tiny bulbs to make it one of those like lawns. But the only thing that's come up is this. And I planted like 100 and something of these little tiny bulbs. But at least some came up. Yeah, so this needs to be worked on. Collects garbage. Oh, these came up. Look. How pretty. The robin keeps on running. Okay. Look at that. They did. Something happened here. Some plan to put a few evergreen shrubs and wildflowers. This is the front. The wind comes in and grabs all the garbage from everybody and brings it here. So this, I definitely have to work out here. I'm going to move those euonymus. They get eaten up by the deer. This is deer damage. I planted another little clematis so I could climb up this ugly thing here. I'm hoping it'll climb up. Let's see what happens. Yeah, these guys, these are beautiful. I might cut them back just a little bit, but this is the 9-bark, the little devil. I have to cut back the lavender. I have to move this guy too. This is another euonymus. It's butterscotch euonymus, and it gets eaten up, gets chomped on. So again, I've been spraying the deer repellent and it's working. The deer and rabbit repellent, and they haven't touched these bulbs out here. Very happy about that. Garbage. Yep. Oh, look how pretty this is. Let's just stop and look at this for a second. Oh. So these bulbs, these hyacinths, I just planted in the fall. So they're finally coming out. They smell so good. With the gray of the lavender, which needs to be cut back, the yellow or chartreusey, the little new growth on the butterscotch euonymus, the tulips, random mushroom, and the spirea. I think the spirea is one of my favorite plants. And that's double play doozy. Look at that color. Look at that color. This is the new growth. And the flowers are pretty. And it's just all year pretty. In the winter, it's deciduous. So in the winter, it's just little twigs. But it's just, look at all this garbage. Let's see what we got here. I think that's Veronica or sage. Got to cut that back. And this is a little phlox that I planted. These are all my alliums. They come up above the fence. They're so tall. They're the ambassador ones. And they look so pretty. It's my neighbor. And he's probably going to start talking to me right now. Hi. Okay. This is the lemon lime nandina. Again, this gets too much sun. I find in my area it needs to have less sun. And I'm going to cut this back a little bit. These are I planted these fall of 2022. And so they were beautiful, like the new ones I just planted. And then they turn into this after year 2, like the old ones. They still smell good and I still think they're pretty. I'm not going to take them out. They bleach out to a little white. These are all the same. These are from Color Blends. And let's see. Same here. So the little daffies. The daffies are facing the sun. Some more of these. This is a new lilac that I planted last year, and I covered these with cloches. The, the, the rabbit started to, you can see the rabbit started to eat them up, so I had to cover them. That is candy tuft, lots of weeds. And this is my, this is a halo red twig dogwood. The leaves are variegated. I love, this is one of my other favorites. I just love it. Winter, summer, fall, it's just a beautiful plant. And it frames my house, so it looks really pretty. Let me show you. And all those are little baby dafts that are coming up. Look at that view right there. Little random hyacinth and the daffies. Random old-fashioned daffies. I'm going to do more daffodils next year. I'm going to look at that. Oh, the candy tuft is starting to come out. Look at that. Pretty. Okay, 30 minutes. So, yeah, I got to cut these back. I'm going to pull these out. This is the autumn joy sedum. And these are also, this is the third year for these bulbs. Oof. I have to take care of this. Goodness. Look at that. Look at that. I need to take care of these. Holy cow. Little Peter Rabbit. Those plants are dying in there. I got a new Roxy planter because the old one got damaged. I have another clematis coming up here, and the weeds are competing for attention here. But she's winning. She is winning. Oh, look at this. This little, look at that. I had pansies in a container last year, and apparently they self-seeded. Look how pretty. All by itself next to a weed. I'm telling you, these weeds. This is my boxwoods. Some of them got some damage. I gotta cut this back. I like to leave them a little fluffy. I like fluffy boxwoods, but not too fluffy. You know, sometimes I make them into little meatballs. This lady here, the spiny, thorny, beautiful colors though on this barberry. This guy's grown up. This is the cryptomeria. Dianthus, I gotta take that out. Another hydrangea. This is the tough stuff hydrangea. I planted more clematis here. I don't know if it's gonna come up. I gotta clean up those old hostas. Oof. I gotta clip up these, cut some of these down, but there's some new growth already. I'm gonna have to be careful. Where's the new stuff? Yeesh. I gotta cut this back. Okay. This is another one. This is another spirea, but it's a different one. This is the double play Big Bang or something like that. This needs a trimming. These are the Hamlin grasses, the little bunny, more weeds. There's Jazz Hansler petalum. So later on it should take on the little purple colors like pink, and it's variegated. I don't know, maybe this is not a good spot for it. Maybe it gets too much sun. I think I might have to move this guy. All right. There was some damage on my enoki. I don't know what got to it, but I don't know if it was deer or what, but it serious damage. It's making it look so funny looking. I don't know what happened there. See? Yeesh. I don't know. I think it's spreading. The heck? Oh, geez. Look at that. Maybe it was deer that came and rubbed themselves against this. These deer, I had to, this guy, they were starting to rub against it too. I don't know if it's going to survive. This is a lace leaf. maple, Japanese maple. Just between the deer and the rabbit here, it's like really hard to keep anything, these trees, from being damaged. Those are the twigs for the, um, from their huge bush of hibiscus, hardy hibiscus comes up. These are new bulbs I planted. These are all daffs, just because I don't want to deal with the rabbits. Look at that. Okay. So these need some attention. These are the sunshine ligustrum. Again, they're sort of deciduous in my area. They're not really evergreen. And I do need to cut these back. Get rid of these leaves. Oh, look at my baby. Look at my baby. This is a cherry blossom. This is a Yoshino, and the deer got to this. I wrapped it up in this plastic. I don't know if it's any good, but I was hoping the deer, look at the deer damage. They come and they rub their horns on these little young trees and they damage them, and then the insects see the damage and they come and all this pus comes out. It's terrible, but I'm just hoping she'll live. She wasn't cheap, so I'm just hoping she will live. Hopefully, at least for a couple of years, she'll give me, look how pretty. Okay, so I guess that's it for today. Oh wait, look. This is a blue chiffon hibiscus syriacus. This is a, I don't know, this is, has little tiny growths, but it looks dead right now. Hopefully it'll grow later. I don't know. And that's a golden arborvitae. I don't remember. I got that at Walmart someplace. And these are my mugo pine little bushes that I planted alongside on this. Instead of putting a fence here, I'm trying to just fill this up with a bunch of evergreens. Not create like a solid hedge, but like a visual barrier. These are golden ligustrum. These are supposedly non-invasive too, but they're different from the sunshine ligustrum, and I'm trying to limb them up. So yeah, so this is my attempt. I'm moving these guys. There's still a lot of space, lots of ground that I need to cover with plants. It's hard for me to gauge how big they're gonna get, if I should even bother. Like, I don't know. Should I just fill it up? I don't want to buy a bunch of annuals and then throw it out. It's like extra work for myself. So I'm always confused whether I should just keep on letting the weeds go wild and weed whenever I can and wait till these plants grow, or should I just fill this up? I'm confused. This is one of these knockout roses. This needs a trimming. Whew. This is pink. Okay, so lots of cleanup, some pruning, some cutting back. Still lots to do in the garden. Hopefully, and then I want to start with the potatoes. I've never planted vegetables before. I'm starting with potatoes and carrots, and I know I can't plant them together, so I'm going to have to plant them separately. And I'm just trying to figure all that out. Figure out what the companion planting is, make sure the soil is okay. Watching a ton of videos and reading a bunch of stuff online about that, just teaching myself gardening from all these amazing people that are so generous with the information they have, and they share that with all the rest of us regular folk that don't know what we're doing. And I'm learning so much, and because of all that information I was able to do this. If you see the before and after, is incredible. This was nothing like this. This was just lawn. This is lawn, lawn, lawn. Nothing else here but lawn. There were some shrubs here, which I removed because they were so old. And in this corner here was a huge, beautiful oak tree, but it took up too much space. There's a red oak in this section here. Then I had another red oak in the back and that big pine. So yeah, I'll leave you with this little picture of spring. Look at that. Okay, familia. I love you all. Thanks for listening to me ramble on. And once I build the greenhouse, I'll make sure to provide an update. Nos vemos. Hasta luego.